Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we're here from Richmond to kick off the round of 12, which consists of, well, here we are in Richmond today. Next episode we'll be headed to Kentucky and then ending the round of 12 at a road course of Watkins Glen. 4 drivers eliminated last episode, including a heartbreaking ending to Kyle Busch's season. Brad Keselowski misses the next round by 1 single point. As well, Austin Hill went out in what was expected in a must-win situation in that final stage for him, and Justin Haley as well eliminated. Kyle Larson, only 1 top 10 in the first 3 races of the playoffs. You have to wonder if they're going to turn things around this weekend. Worst kept secret in the garage was official this weekend. Zane Smith will be behind the wheel of the Penske Racing number 12 next season. He moves up from Front Row Motorsports, and he will be alongside his new teammates Joey Logano and Todd Gilliland next season. It'll be exciting to see what they can do. Penske, it's been a really interesting season for them with the dynamic of Logano and Blaney and whatnot, and you see the playoff grid coming into today's episode. A new round, of course, means a new grid and a reset with new playoff points that were picked up throughout the first round. So we are the 3rd seed, starting 14 points only above the cut line. The bottom 4, Chris Buescher, Shane Van Gisbergen, William Byron, and last episode winner at Auto Club, Chase Briscoe, who starts this round 3 points below the cut line behind Joey Logano. You see the rest of the points, of course, on your screen. Christopher Bell, he, of course, is only a few points above the cut line. Kyle Larson's the only one that's comfortable. 40-point advantage. Meanwhile, everybody else, it's so tight. It's going to be really just, one stage that's going to make the difference probably for some drivers moving on to the next round or not. It's just so close this season. Probably the most stacked final 12 drivers we have ever had, and I can't wait to see how this plays out over the next 3 races. But here in qualifying, not expecting a lot. Usually struggle in Richmond qualifying as we exit turn 4 to the line. A goal of a 20.853. We hit an 899, putting us P18 for the Federated Auto Parts 400 under the lights Saturday night racing here, as we'll take a look at the rest of the qualifying order. And up at the front, Chase Elliott on pole with Ryan Blaney, last episode winner, Chase Briscoe, Chastain Larson in the top 5, Kyle Busch freshly eliminated in P6, Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, P10, P11, as you see the rest of the qualifying order. Rajat Caruth down in 29th, Carson Kvapil, Ryan Vargas, part-time drivers in the field. SVG 39th. That is interesting. We'll see how it plays out. Truck Series, first race of the playoffs. It's only 2 rounds in the Truck Series playoffs this season. 3 races, 8 drivers, 4 eliminated after 3. And then, of course, they have the final 4 for 3 races. Brent Cruz wins his way in already to the final 4. And you can see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. And the playoff grid for the Truck Series, Stephen Malazzi, Sargent, Bailey Curry, and Cam Waters all below the cut line, as Riley Herbst has a very comfortable gap going into the next 2 races. Xfinity side of things, second race of the playoffs there, Caden Honeycutt picked up his first win of his Xfinity career for Richard Childress Racing. One of the drivers that made it in on points. He held off Daniel Suarez, who was looking for his first win of the season with Trackhouse, as they still seek their first Xfinity win as a team. As you see the rest of the finishing order there as well for the Xfinity Series playoffs, Honeycutt locked into the round of 8. Andres Perez will enter the next race 9 points below the cut line behind Haley Deegan, and you see the other drivers that have some work to do there. Now it's time to go racing Saturday night in the Cup Series.
It's a new round of the playoffs, and things get even tighter than they were in the round of 16. Title contenders find themselves less than 20 points above the cut line. This will not be an easy round, Steve.
8 spots, probably 10 guys who can win the title. The greediest drivers will prevail in this round.
Boys, not going to be an easy round of the playoffs. It's so tight. Just try to stay on it, and yeah, I'll do the best I can behind the wheel.
Patience will be key this round. You're the best driver here. Do what you do best, mate.
Brad Keselowski sent to the back after failing technical inspection. He missed this round by 1 single point. Heartbreaking for Keselowski as he, well, starts to pursue the final races of his Cup Series career. Now, the round of 12 is underway from Richmond. We head to Richmond, then we head to Kentucky and Watkins Glen for the 3 races of this round as we dive down into turn 1. Chase Elliott leads the way, won at the Charlotte Road Course a few episodes back. Your first 3 winners of the playoffs, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, and Chase Briscoe. The pair of chases found victory lane here now. Can Christopher Bell go and win the first race of the round of 12 like he did in the first race of the round of 16? Doesn't seem like he's quite got the speed, at least based off qualifying, but you never know. As he's moving his way forward already, I can see from here as I'm 3 wide on the outside. Tyler Reddick in his Xbox Toyota Camry for 2311 goes through there in the middle lane. You got Michael McDowell, Eric Jones on my inside there in the number 34, Austin Cindric 06 Meyer Shank Ford Mustang. The final handful of races for that team before they depart the Cup Series. Kyle Larson to the lead early on here from Richmond. Elliott dropping back. Has Larson returned to form? It certainly looks like it, at least in the first 3 laps. Connor Zilish now goes through. We are dropping back. We started P18, we're down to 23rd, maybe 24th, as Rajan Karuth now looks to my inside. He qualified 29th, now up to 23rd after just 3 complete laps. So settle in behind the number 48 now, as he, of course, was in the mix in Auto Club, and then he faded in that 3rd and final stage, ended up outside of the top 10, as now we've gotten to the inside finally, and we can focus in on going forward. This is a short stage, only 23 laps, but we're not in a good position to get stage points here. Certainly concerning. Stage points are everything, especially when the playoff grid is as close as it is, and you think it's close now. That just means it's going to be way closer in that round of 8. Now, keep in mind, the Final Four, just like the real-life Final Four, outside of it being 3 races in this game and stage points counting, the points still do reset to flat. So everybody that makes the Final Four will be starting at the exact same amount of points now as we dive down into turn number 1. And now passing the 24 of William Byron. He barely made this round. I mean, he was 1 point below after race 1, 1 point below after race 2, and the round of 16, and then advances by 1 point over Brad Kozlowski. It was not easy. As you might notice under Justin Haley's name, for example, there's a playoff tag on there and it says round of 16. Completely ignore that because the game uses a different system than what we have as our own custom format for the playoffs with the 12 races and the way the Final Four is. So ignore that completely because the game, the way it thinks is we're actually in the 2nd race of the round of 16. Meanwhile, with our format, we're in race 1 of the round of 12. As we now pass Christian Eckes, look to the inside of Bubba Wallace in this number 23 McCafe Toyota Camry. We pass him and get to the inside of recently eliminated Justin Haley. He got into the playoffs based off his win earlier this season at Phoenix. It's been a miserable season since then. He started the season pretty good, hasn't been good since that win, and it was, just an embarrassing first round of the playoffs for Haley. Now as Kyle Larson continues to lead after 15 laps here from Richmond Raceway now. Less than 10 to go on the stage. We're P18 in no place to get stage points, so that's concerning. Hoping for maybe a caution that can spice things up, but doubtful that's going to happen at this point. Now I say that Corey Heim into the outside wall, blows the tire right in front of SVG, who's struggling to go forward, and immediately we see split strategy. Some will pit, some will stay out. We are going to stay out. We're going to take a gamble and try to get any stage points we can. So Larson staying out, Bell staying out, Logano's going to be the first one to come in. So what's happening here is everybody that's pitting now will stay out at the end of the stage and go forwards. Meanwhile, all of us that just stayed out now will have to pit and go behind the cars that just pitted. So we're going to restart right behind the 17 of Chris Buescher, which puts us P10, the last stage point. It's a 3-lap sprint for points. Kyle Larson's going to lead us off into turn 1 over Chastain. I take an immediate lunge to the outside of the 17, 3 wide. How about my teammate up there? That's Chandler Smith that just took a 3 wide on Chastain. Gibbs as well going forward as we made a nice 3 wide move around the outside on the, was that the 51, I believe, and the 48 of Priest and Caruth, and now into P8 we go. 2 laps to go on the stage. Kyle Larson's under pressure right now, I believe, from, that's the 98, or no, sorry, 18. Not used to seeing my teammate of Chandler Smith up there in the mix, but here he is, off a top 10 last episode. Actually, he goes up to the outside, though. He's going to give up the lead. Larson going back. I'm under pressure from Caruth. I'm struggling coming to the white flag in stage 1. Gibbs to the point now. He got his first 2 stage wins of the season last episode in Auto Club. Now Bell is 3 wide, trying to go through to P2 as Gibbs about to get his 3rd stage win of the season. He's been getting hot at the perfect time, and same for Bell as well. Ty Gibbs leads the way through 3 and 4, will hold off Zilish, but Gibbs wins stage 1 over Bell, Chastain, Smith, and Larson, and we are the worst performing Joe Gibbs driver, but we still get stage points. 2 stage points with P9, Zilish in the top 10, SVG P11. Something doesn't seem right with that 97. SVG had a really rough first race of the round of 16, and I think he's in store for the same kind of situation here. So we'll pit for 4 tires, pit for fuel. Didn't really know what to do with the car a whole lot, but I did tighten it up because it was feeling quite free, and it was giving me a lot less grip on the exit of the corners now as stage 2 underway. Everybody that pitted before that caution cycles through to the front, and now we go from, what, 9th to 24th as we dive down into turn number 1. Joey Logano overtakes the drivers that, of course, pitted, and now finds himself leading the way. Logano has been unbelievable since the summer stretch now, and has certainly put himself as a championship contender as we exit turn 4, 3 wide on the outside with Chandler Smith, my teammate there, and RFK's Chris Buescher in the 17 for that Fastenal Ford Mustang. I'm way up the racetrack right there, not quite doing myself any favors. A big stack up on the bottom for the 17. We'll get back in front of him, but can't go anywhere but a contact there on the right rear of the 5. He's going forwards now. He's going to pass the 11 of Heim and just stay glued to the bottom. Larson, who was in great position to win stage 1, found himself, outside of the top 3, top 4 there at the end of the stage. Just didn't quite work out for him as I'm 3 wide in the middle as we got Heim on my outside, SVG on my inside. Now positions have been shuffled around so much, some slower cars in front of us as well. Gibbs, Ty Gibbs with a big moment. What happened there? He slid through turn 3, a huge stack up. Thank you very much. Top 20 we enter, and we'll take a very brief look as it was contact between Gibbs and Haley. Watch the top of the screen right there in turn 3. Gibbs runs into Haley, slides, huge save, and keeps it going, as we would be able to gain a few spots out of that. Now as we come to 49 to go in stage 2, we have a lot of laps here in stage 2, 25 in stage 1, 53 in stage 2. We will need a pit stop, be under caution or under green. Right now leading this race is Austin Cindric. He's passed his former teammate of Joey Logano in that Meyershank 06 now, and he finds himself in control of this race, but it didn't last long because then it was Chase Briscoe who would take over in that number 98. He's had a pretty quiet season. He won at Darlington earlier in the season with a phenomenal drive, taking advantage of Kyle Larson's tire failure as well, put himself in position to win that race, and then has been quiet but not bad. He's run the top 10 in the regular season standings for the majority of the season, but here we are in the playoffs, and it seems like he has come to fight. Briscoe wins an Auto Club in that 3-way fight with myself and Gibbs, and then Logano joined the battle right at the end as well on that final lap. It was one heck of a finish, but Kyle Busch now takes over the lead from Chase Briscoe. A heartbreaking end to the playoffs for Kyle Busch. There's been a lot of speculation of how much time he has left in his Cup Series career. He will be back next season with Trackhouse in the 99. That is already confirmed. His lead was quite brief, actually. Christopher Bell now to the lead. What does the 20 have here? As we are now working on 13th place of Carson Hocevar, as we'll dive to the inside out of turn 4, side by side across the stripe. Still 37 laps to go in the stage, a very long stage 2, but we are going forward now. P13, as the guys that have been right there with us with speed are chasing. Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson as well, all behind us in our rear view mirror as we're trying to run down Ryan Blaney in that number 12 as we dive down into turn 3. How about Jesse Love up here in the top 12, having a solid run, maybe a career best. Love signed with that 33 team for next season. He'll be behind the wheel of the RCR Cadillac, of course, next season as we pass Ryan Blaney and Larson right on us now, trying to follow us through this traffic as I'm alongside that 33. Positions shuffle a lot here at Richmond, just with the different lanes that drivers will run, because there's no speed on the top, but they will, for whatever reason, go to the top. Larson 3 wide middle, got forced to the middle by his teammate of Carruth, who's saying, hey, I'm coming through. I mean, Rajan Carruth has been a force to be reckoned with, been the best non-playoff driver by far, and I slip up on the exit of 4. That allows him and Ryan Blaney to both go through on my inside now, as I'm starting to struggle as these laps go on, as we now on lap 25 finds some pressure from Brad Keselowski. He goes to my inside as well. Larson still behind us. Gibbs, same for him. Chase Elliott as well. We're not the only playoff driver that's outside of the top 10, which is a successful or a good thing for us now. As here comes Larson up my inside there. He goes through into P15, and we are just starting to sink down the order. Elliott goes through. Zilish through. Gibbs as well. We dropped to 19th now as pit stops are not far from kicking off. We need something. We are struggling so hard here from Richmond now, but pit stops will be kicking off for guys like Christopher Bell or Joey Logano sooner rather than later. Actually, not Bell. Christopher Bell stayed out. I forgot. So Bell is just straight up leading this race, but the guys that stayed out at the end of the stage are pitting, of course, earlier, and they're pitting now. If you can see it on the track map there on the left side, through 3 and 4, they are coming into the pits, so we're going to run a little bit longer than those guys. Very well could be a caution. We see cautions come out during the pit sequence quite often. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it here now as Eric Jones is up my inside and we continue to struggle, and I do not want to pit. I do want to pit right now to get fresh tires and an adjustment in this car, but I don't want to pit and get screwed over by a terribly timed caution, so we're staying out basically until we are confident that we're not going to get screwed over. Basically trying to be pretty well the last driver to pit, or at least in that last group of drivers to pit. Chase Elliott's already pitted now. Kyle Larson's coming in. There's Sawalach, who's a lap down, coming in. Zilish as well is in. So everyone's coming in. We are P5 going up to P4, and it's our teammate of Chandler Smith now leading. He pits, and there's Eric Jones coming into the pits. Elliott has already pit. Like I said, he's currently right there in front of us. Carruth comes in. So now everybody but myself has come into the pits. We're going to come in at the end of this lap right here, lap 38 now. We know we're not going to get screwed. We're going to come in. Our tire icon is on. We could run a little bit further on fuel, but we're just giving up too much time for if it does stay green. So into the pits we come. We'll get down to third gear. We slide. We throttle up to make sure we don't spin. Nearly speed in the process. And it's going to be 4 tires. I tighten up the car a little bit more, just trying to get it a little bit more snug. So 4 tires on. We'll get back onto the racetrack. Let's see where we cycle out. We ran quite a few more laps than some other drivers now, and there goes Carruth. It looks like we haven't lost much time at all. There goes Blaney, Byron as well. Here comes Larson and Elliott, who we were racing with at the time that they pitted. So we pretty well lost nothing to those guys, and we're P17, actually running better than where we were before the pit cycle kicked off. We got Connor Zilish just behind. Kyle Busch leads the way. Now crash, and it's my teammate. It's Chandler Smith in turn 3, who's hard into the wall, and that Oreo Toyota Logano gets a piece of it, and the caution flies as Kyle Busch leads. Everybody will stay out as Tyler Reddick will get the free pass. Zane Smith will be the first one to lap down from 23rd. An interesting setup here going into the final laps of stage 2. Kyle Busch is in control. It's not been the race we've been looking for so far, and it continues like that with 10 laps to go in stage 2. We restart again from P16. Busch, Chastain, Trackhouse teammates dive down into turn 1. 2 Trackhouse Hondas still in the playoffs with, of course, Chastain and SVG. Next season they'll have 4 cars to try and compete for a championship now, and I think they're gonna have, honestly, one of the most competitive lineups of any team in the series. Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Connor Zilish, an up-and-coming superstar, of course, in the making here now as we roll through 1 and 2, and it's an absolute mess. 3 wide we find ourselves in, now 2 wide as we exit turn 2. Byron, he's really not had a lot of speed so far here tonight under the lights. It's not been a pretty playoffs for William Byron. 3 races down, and he's not had a top 10 yet, as I think that's going to continue here tonight in Richmond with 8 laps to go in stage 2. However, actually a bit of contact there with the 31 of Alex Bowman. Announced last episode, Bowman will be coming to drive my number 19 next season as we make that move over to Junior Motorsports now, which is still such an exciting move, and I can't wait for you guys to see my number 8 Target Cadillac. It's an absolutely beautiful race car that we've got lined up for season 5 now, as we're 3 wide with Larson and Buscher, and then SVG as well as we exit turn 2. Close quarters racing now. We've been racing hard with this 5 of Kyle Larson here in these closing laps of stage number 2. We roll through 3, and out of 4 we'll clear him. Larson struggling. SVG slow right there. We'll pass him as well. He had a bit of a moment on the exit of the corner, and Joey Logano now back to the lead of this race. Hold on, that 22 looking strong as we roll through 1 and out of 2, coming to 4 laps to go on the stage. We now pass Ryan Blaney. We'll pass Christian Eckes. Maybe, no, he's going to stay in front of us. That's not for position with the 15 car. As we'll roll through 1 and 2, we'll clear him. So we maintain that 16th position. Busher, the next position behind us now as we come to 2 now 1 lap to go on the stage. It would be Chase Briscoe that got to the lead eventually over Joey Logano. 1 lap to go in stage number 2. Byron right in front of us there for P15. Can we pass him? How about Chandler Smith still up there in 14th, having a good run even after bringing out that caution? But it's Briscoe leading the way out of 4. Chase Briscoe holds off Logano for the stage win. Carruth, Bell, and Bush the rest of the top 5. And again, outside of the top 10, P16, it has not been a pretty race so far.
I don't know what to tell you, James. It drives okay now. It's just not fast.
Yeah, I think we got what we got at this point. Just keep pushing and make the most of it.
You hear the radio there between Gary Owen and his crew chief. Things aren't looking good for them tonight, Steve.
Yeah, but here's the one positive for him. There's other playoff guys struggling too. Blaney, Larson, Byron, Elliott, and SVG.
You hear our radio chatter. We gain 2 spots in the pits as well. You hear the commentary between Lee Diffie and Steve Letarte. Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, the front row for the start of the 3rd and final stage. At this point, it's about survival. I mean, we clearly don't have a car capable of even running in the top 10, so we got to do this. We got to get aggressive on the restarts, find whatever positions we can, and fight hard for any position we can to the end of this race, because it's just not going to be the night that we want to have here from Richmond. It's it is what it is. Briscoe leads over Rajan Carruth. Logano drops back a little bit after running that outside. Actually, I scraped the outside wall there into turn 1, still 3 wide. Byron shoves it up the inside. I think the 17 tagged the back there of Connor Zilish, and now he checks up on the exit of turn 2 because Blaney was on his nose. I dive between the 28 and the 17, and we'll get down in front of Chris Busher. Now Zilish on my outside, having a great run at a short track is Connor Zilish now. I cannot wait to see the future for him as we're 3 wide middle. We're continuing to struggle here. Just doesn't seem to matter what I do. Busher gets through on the inside now as well. Back to P16 we go as we continue on, coming to the approaching lap 90 at this point. It'll be 50 laps to go, and new leader Rajan Carruth in the 48 out in front again, putting himself in the conversation to win here for the first time in his Cup Series career. He continues to be by far the best non-playoff driver. If he made the playoffs, he very well might have advanced into this round of 12, even with that DNF in the playoff opener at Chicago. But it didn't last long. New leader Christopher Bell out in front in that number 20 Yahoo Toyota Camry, and here comes Kyle Larson now to my inside. Contact there. The Larson runs up the track and hits my door. He slides, saves it. We continue on.
I mean, what is he doing, man? He just drove right into me.
No idea. Maybe he was trying to run us up the track.
A contact there, big contact with Larson. He goes backwards now. Bowman's going to get through, and now Larson would stay put, and about 2 cars behind me is Zane Smith is starting to go forwards here. Just announced today he'll be at Penske Racing next season. We've had so many silly season announcements coming out here, and there's still a couple more to go. But Zane Smith up my inside now. I just don't have enough right here to hold him off. I'm just struggling. So Smith goes through. Larson's continuing to fight with Alex Bowman, but it wasn't long until Larson got to me. Smith was not for position, I should mention, so we maintain P16. 44 to go. Larson has run me down. I'm not very happy about that contact that we just had with Kyle Larson as we exit turn 2, but a contact there. Door slam, show Larson. Hey, I didn't appreciate it as we dive down into turn 3, and now Larson is going to slide up the track again. Uses the wall to save it. Now he loses about 4 or 5 positions, and we continue on. But hey, I mean, it's playoff racing. You're going to run into me. I'm going to make sure I give it back to you as we continue running in the 16th spot, and Christopher Bell maintains the lead of this race. Now our Joe Gibbs teammate trying to win another first race of the round of the playoffs to move himself into the next round and not have to worry about the next 2. But now caution flies, and it's for Noah Gregson, future teammate in the 88 engine failure there, and it's going to be end of the night for him as we're making more adjustments specifically to grill tape on this car, and everybody is going to pit for 4 tires and fuel. It's Bell, Gibbs, Bush, Chastain, Briscoe your top 5. Rajan Carruth up there as well in the mix still as we get ready to go back racing now behind Eric Jones in the 34. The green flag is out and we're racing once again alongside my other future teammate Carson Hocevar and the number 8. He's been kind of around us lately over the recent races. Now Kyle Busch 3 wide up the inside, catches Bell off guard. Kyle Busch for Trackhouse in the Wendy's 99 Honda to the lead. Blaney was trying to follow through as well on that inside. He'll move through into P2. Now they're 4 wide briefly. It's Rajan Carruth slipping through into second place. What a move from the 48 as well. As he continues to get more confident behind the wheel, he gets more aggressive. And Jesse Love in the 33 into third. 3-3-3 right there. As we continue now in P12, the restarts get more and more chaotic as the race goes on. Carruth looking to the inside of Busch. You can see it from here. He's trying to take the lead once again as Bell was poised to drive away and now finds himself in the bottom part of the top 10. Carruth to the lead over Kyle Busch. Ryan Blaney followed through in second. They're 3 wide behind us. Jesse Love still maintains P3. Joey Logano just behind in 5th. Then you got Chastain Bell just outside of the top 5 now, and here comes Chandler Smith, my Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. He had a crash earlier in the race, was able to bounce back, and now here he is going up my inside to move himself into P11. Jesse Love briefly got to P2, but it didn't last long. He would start dropping back in. Christopher Bell, with 30 laps to go, is on his way forward. Ryan Blaney in P2, Chastain now third. They're hounding the 48 as I'm starting to slip backwards now. Keselowski through into P12, and the distance between myself and the cars in front unfortunately continue to get larger in these closing laps. 25 laps to go. Carruth, though, was running away from the leaders, but the new problem was Christopher Bell had just passed Jesse Love for second place, and he would run down Carruth over the next few laps. By the time it came to lap 121, Bell has run down and now passed Carruth. Christopher Bell back to the lead with 20 laps to go. I am all the way up the racetrack. We slide on the exit of turn 2, even hit the outside wall right there. Here comes Larson again on my inside. Larson and I make contact again for the 3rd time. He slides on the nose of Chase Elliott, 2 Hendrick teammates, and he keeps it going and loses a significant amount of positions.
I'm gonna out of him. I mean, he can bring it on all he wants.
Calm down here. Just focus on these final laps.
Do we have a rivalry during the playoffs brewing with the 5 of Kyle Larson? He was first in the regular season, I was second, and now it seems like both of us colliding 3 times in one race is no coincidence. Now Larson again just ran up the track. He didn't go to the bottom. He ran up the track. Now crash behind, though. The 23 of Bubba Wallace goes around, and there's the caution. Christopher Bell, I'm sure, is not happy based off how that final restart went. Carruth, Blaney, Chastain, Chandler Smith, the top 5 as we get ready for a late race restart. And Larson is just outside of the top 20, maybe 20th actually, as we'll get ready to go back racing. Bell, Carruth, your front row. We're racing once again. It's 14 laps to go in Richmond. While it stayed green to the end, very likely so. Now right to the back of the 28. A nice run into turn 1. We take it 3 wide on it as well. Chris Buescher on the far outside into the back of the 54. A great restart for Christopher Bell. He can focus in on driving away and trying to win this race. Carruth going backwards now as Blaney slips through into second. Chandler Smith looking for third. He had a top 10 in Auto Club. Could he get 2 back-to-back top 10s? I don't think he's done that at all this season, but Chandler Smith suddenly in these last few races seems to have found his own as we're 3 wide with the pair of RFKs as well. That was Buescher and his Fastenal buddy today, Chase Briscoe, as well as William Byron right on a rear bumper on the outside there, and as well Connor Zilish on the inside. They're all trying to go forward. Kyle Larson's trying to navigate his way forwards as well. Bell continues to lead over Ryan Blaney. Chastain in third, having a great first race of this round. Briscoe, your stage 2 winner, fading in the late laps now, and Logano is another one that's fading in these last 10 laps. You can see him up there right on the nose of Eric Jones. Ty Gibbs as well, nearly into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2. We maintain 14th, but we know we're going to start to struggle in these closing laps now. 7 laps to go when we come back around one more time, and Tyler Reddick and Chase Elliott both are closing in on us here, and so is the 5 of Kyle Larson. Out of turn 4 coming to lap 135, Elliott gets to my inside after passing the 45 of Tyler Reddick into turn 1. Bell continues to lead, hoping it stays green. Here comes Tyler Reddick as well as I continue to struggle up the track nearly into the outside wall. Reddick will go through. We dropped to P16. These are crucial points that we're losing right here at the very end, and I just continue to struggle with the handling of this race car. Larson now only a few car lengths back in the mirror, getting a reminder here over the radio from James Small.
The 20 is leading. Do not try anything with the 5 here. Again, the 20 is leading. That's your teammate.
James Small making sure I know the situation. My teammate of Christopher Bell leading, coming to the final few moments of this race now. Larson behind Zilish, a chance to get on my inside. Logano's dropped to 14th. White flag in the air for Christopher Bell. What a drive again as he leads away into turn 1 with no competition. Larson on my inside. I've got nothing for him even if I wanted to try and do something here. Side by side, 1 lap to go into turn 1, crowding him a little bit on the turn 1 entry, but not going to try anything stupid. Larson though is going to get through. We'll certainly have an opportunity to get him back before the playoffs are over. Christopher Bell leads out of 4 and wins the first race of the round of 12. Hello, round of 8. Christopher Bell, his second win on the season. It's Bush, Blaney, the rest of your top 3 as we're going to cross the line outside of the top 15. An absolutely abysmal effort as Christopher Bell celebrates win number 2 of the playoffs. And you see the finishing order over Bush, Blaney, Chastain, Rajan Carruth, Ty Gibbs. How about Jesse Love and Chandler Smith in the top 10? The pair of RFK drivers, Busher and Kozlowski, in the top 10 as well. Elliott and Briscoe just outside of that top 10. Larson ends up 14th over Logano, Zilish, and myself. Reddick and SVG rounding out the top 20. Byron, another rough day, down in 22nd over part-time Ryan Vargas. Noah Gregson actually was back in the race. He did not retire from that engine issue. He was 28th over Zane Smith and Austin Hill. As you see the rest of the finishing order, the only DNF was Bubba Wallace. Now, looking at the playoffs, it was not pretty for us, and it shows that on the playoff grid. So Joey Logano, maybe the biggest surprise, is 1 point below the cut line, but it's just so close. That's pretty well why. Chris Busher 13 back, William Byron and SVG both over 20 points to make up, but Briscoe 1 point above, myself only 2 points above the cut line. Blaney at 6. It's so tight. Larson loses points. Bell's the only one, of course, locked into the round of 8 with the win in the first race. Again, just like the round of 16, Larson at 35 points above, but it is so tight. 35 points can go away very quickly, especially if someone you made angry at Richmond gets redemption, or revenge, I should say, going forward at a road course or maybe at Kentucky as well. We'll see what happens in the next episode at Kentucky, the final race ever for the Cup Series there as well. I'll see you guys then for the middle race of the round of 12. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.